think a bit more bass on this guitar if you can manage that. The photosynthetic process is the source of all true wealth. Seeing the land whole is the art of all true health. Holistic decision-making is the key to knowing how. All the time in the world, all we have is now. Read the land and dream on what you want to get to. Read the land and scheme on for as far as it will let you. Make 3 wishes and they are true somehow. All the time in the world, always have is now. What do you want? What do you see? We will never understand the full complexity. But this whole world is a process that we all affect somehow. All the time in the world, all we have is now. Let's be the change we're seeking, discover dreams and sail beyond sight of the shore, undefeated when we fail. Into a future like a tidal wave crashing across our bow. All the time in the world. The timing is a bit off there. But otherwise, beautiful. This is the greatest battle ever fought, maybe the last. Nothing else has ever been so important or so vast. And who is the leader? Those who take this sacred vow. All the time in the world, all we have is now. All the time in the world, all we have is now. All the time in the world, all we have is now. Let's be the change we're seeking, discover dreams and sail beyond sight of the shore, undefeated when we fail. Into the future like a tidal wave as it crashes across our bow. All the time in the world and all we have is now. Some people see things randomly. Some people wander aimlessly. Some people have a plan. Some people kill time shamelessly, any way they can. But in your eyes a flame I see. I just think of how all the time in the world, all the time in the world. Great. All the people who come in after this are going to say, is this a famous song? Is this a famous singer? How come everybody knows it except me? I'm going to feel so good. So remember to come in strong, okay? Like you've been singing this all your lives, and I'm really like Bob Dylan, you know, it's like one of your heroes. Should we do it again? Are you happy to do it again? Not bored already? Some people see things randomly. Some see patterns in the whole. Some people live life carelessly. Some have a holistic goal. Looking in your eyes, I just think of how all the time in the world. Nice. The photosynthetic process is the source of all true wealth. Seeing the land whole is the art of all true health. Holistic decision-making is the key to knowing how. All the time in the world. Read the land and dream on what you want to get to. Read the land and scheme on as far as it will let you. Make 3 wishes and they are somehow true. All the time in the world. All the time in the world. Let's be the change we're seeking. Discover dreams and sail beyond sight of the shore, undefeated when we fail. Into a future like a tidal wave crashing across our bow. All the time in the world, all we have is now. You can do the actions if you want. We had an action there. Do the lighter thing if you want, or I think it's the iPhones now, isn't it? Yeah. This is the greatest battle ever fought, and maybe the last. Nothing else has ever been so important and so vast. Who is the leader? Those who take this sacred vow. All the time in the world. All the time in the world. All the time in the world. Let's be the change we're seeking. Discover dreams and sail beyond sight of the shore, undefeated when we fail. Into a future like a tidal wave crashing across our bow. All the time in the world. I know it's a different tune there, so you're a bit confused. Some people wander aimlessly. Some people have a plan. Some people kill time shamelessly, any way they can. But in your eyes a flame I see. I just think of how all the time in the world, all we have is now. All the time in the world. That is so thrilling. Oh my God, it's already 9 o'clock, isn't it? Or 10 past. Where are all the other people? So, what we have to do today is turn your chairs around and get into groups of people that you haven't met before. And if you could try and get yourself into one of the dot groups. Do you know what I mean by that? So are you a rancher, a researcher, working in health? If you could find someone with the same dot as you, and then just huddle with them for a while. The challenge for you today, yesterday evening, was anybody here yesterday evening? I think this little 15-minute slot at the beginning of the day was to look at historical change. How does change happen at a historical level? And all the speakers yesterday Can I have a bit of quiet? I know you're excited. Okay, settle down. We have some work to do. So the task facing you this morning, and you only have 5 minutes for this, but it's a really important 5 minutes. At the evening dinner tonight, I have to wear this? Oh, thank you. Oh, that's so good. After that song, my head has got bigger, so... Super, yeah, oh, great. Now I don't have to do this. So, at the evening dinner tonight, there's going to be a keynote speech given by you. So this, we want to give you a bit of advance warning to think about what you would say, or what you will say tonight as the keynote speakers to this room. So what I want you to do at this moment is to think about what is the key message this group of people needs to hear from whoever you are. And if you don't know who you are, check the dots on your badge. Because you're either a rancher, and the ranchers may have a few things to say to us people who have never really set foot on a ranch. It's the city guys and people like that. Or the researchers or the health people. Or you may not even have a dot that really represents who you are. But find out, what is your message to this group of people? This movement of people with a task of changing the mindset of a generation. You are a keynote speaker tonight from the floor because Daniela and Chris, they knew that the people in this room are the movement. You are the movement. We are the movement. What we do, how we talk, how we look after ourselves, look after each other, we are the secret of this movement. So we have a chance this evening to come up with that keynote speech to ourselves. You got that? You excited about that? Fantastic. So we're running out because some of you were a little bit late this morning, but we're starting a bit late. So take 5 minutes just to discuss what needs to be in that keynote speech. Now, the other thing is, some keynote speeches go on and on and on and on. So we don't want this one to be one of those. We want it to be sharp, punchy, really get the sound bite in there. And do you remember what Jonah was telling us about changing the story, the whole Marlborough Man thing and the You Are Beautiful thing from the Dove? It's sort of over there. We need to tell a new story, but we sort of need to tell it to ourselves. So what's the new story? What's the new understanding? What's the keynote story? Come up with a few, you don't have to come up with the whole speech, just a few lines, a few bullet points from your point of view. All right, got it? And then I'm going to be disciplined. As soon as that happens, just stop. When the other speaker comes on, you can start talking amongst yourselves again. But just stop, and then we will sing a song. Just to end up. Is that okay, Chris? Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. All right, go. 5 minutes. Okay. Obviously, that wasn't long enough to do anything except get you started. But now you have a chance to keep this conversation going all through the day. And we're going to stop this session now so that we can keep the day moving through. So we're just going to, I've also been told I cannot sing the song because we don't have time. So we're just going to sing one verse of the song. And you're just going to put your whole heart into, if you've heard this song, because obviously it's a famous song. And so this is kind of like my keynote speech. This is the greatest battle ever fought, and it may be the last. Nothing else has ever been so important and so vast. And who is the leader? Those who take this sacred vow. All the time in the world, all we have is now. All the time in the world, have is... Okay, you ready for the day? Keep working on your keynote speech.